finished with Nana? Miami?
In the Safdie Brothers Uncut Gems, released in 2019, the restless, unpredictable, erratic, and self-destructive nature of the main character, Howard Ratner, captured audiences. He was totally unlike any Adam Sandler character we had ever seen before, and even unlike any character that we had experienced in cinema. Howard Ratner does not fit into a type. He is not a stock character. He is not a romantic lead, nor a swashbuckling hero, nor a villain, nor a fool. He is too foolish to be a Shakespearean fool. His redeeming qualities, combined with his dark side, are not quite redeeming enough, nor dark enough, for Howard Ratner to be considered an antihero. He lacks the idealism, the noble purpose, and the chivalry of a Don Quixote figure. If he were trying to be affable, he might be like Larry David, but he is not.
I was trying to be affable.
There is too much structure and confinement in his life for Howard's story to be described as picaresque, although a picaro is probably the most applicable of the pre-existing character types. He is a complex individual, that is for sure. The fact that we are introduced to the protagonist while he is receiving a colonoscopy shows us right off the bat that this character breaks the mold. Howard Ratner does not really behave like a normal person, nor like a conventional movie protagonist. He wants to sell the opal for the highest price, sure, but the question of what he really wants remains mysterious and just out of reach of the audience. Often Howard does the opposite of what he should rationally do, despite being highly capable in many ways. This is part of what makes him so fascinating. His actions, reactions, and impulses often appear to be inexplicable. However, there is one aspect of production design early on in the film that, when analysed, indicates that the enigmatic Howard Ratner is driven by what Freud coined as the Madonna whore complex. As we see later on in the film, Howard Ratner does indeed exhibit traits that are associated with this psychological split in how men perceive women. In the mind of one affected with this complex, on the one hand, there is the virtuous, saintly Madonna, whom the subject can respect, but who evokes no arousal. And on the other hand, there is the characterization of women as debased, degraded whores, who can be sexualized but cannot be respected by the subject under any circumstances. This split is represented in the painting that we see as soon as Howard enters the apartment where he keeps the woman whom he's having an affair with, Julia. There is a painting on the wall that depicts two naked figures identical in appearance. The pair together represent the dichotomy of the Madonna whore complex. On the left, the Madonna, covering her nakedness to preserve her modesty. On the right, the whore, exhibiting her private parts, having abandoned her modesty. The interplay of these two contrasting versions of women is displayed because it represents the subconscious psychological conflict attributed to the protagonist. This aspect of the mise-en-scène, in my view, is purposefully used to communicate this attribute of Howard's psychology to the audience, even if its effects are unknown to the afflicted character himself. The painting, although not the centre of attention, is prominent. The movement of Howard's entrance is what primarily catches the eye. Additionally, the painting is an unusual element in the aesthetic layout of the apartment, which further suggests it is displayed as a deliberate signal about some aspect of the scene. Most importantly, Howard's characterization throughout the story solidifies the hypothesis that this painting is intentionally used to exhibit something about the protagonist himself. We can observe that Howard's dysfunctions appear to be rooted in this psychological phenomenon. We see it in his volatile romantic life.
When my mother took me to see Snow White, everyone fell in love with Snow White. I immediately fell for the wicked queen.
The combination of his unsustainable relationship with his wife, plus his unsustainable relationship with Julia, mirror the Madonna whore split. Arguably, Howard has subconsciously created this scenario because of the attributes he imputes to both partners. The plot and the filmmaking emphasizes what Howard sees in them both. Julia, seen as impure, is first introduced by the mess she and her friends created the night before. When he enters her room, look at the painting above her. It depicts a naked, emaciated woman with nothing in her fridge but beer.
The Wedding Singer.
Get out of my Van Halen t-shirt before you jinx the band and they break up.
Rated PG-13.
His wife, seen as pure, is first introduced as a devoted mother but who shouts at Howard. In this moment, she is simultaneously virtuous and unappealing. She is able to fit into her bar mitzvah dress, representing the idea that she is virginal, even in motherhood. She rescues him when he is in danger. There is food in her fridge. Howard is unfaithful in his relationships. He is sexually dysfunctional, and his desires are rooted in a dual process of idealization and devaluation, typical of someone afflicted with this particular complex. When the crowd chant Black Light at the Weeknd's concert, they are verbalizing Howard's internal dichotomy. Howard's attitude to women leads to dysfunction beyond his sexual relationships. It manifests itself throughout his career, his family life, and his emotional life. The process of idealization and devaluation defines his profession in the diamond trade. In this profession, the value of the merchandise is inflated, a sort of idealization process. Diamonds are put on a pedestal, like the Madonna archetype of a woman. Kevin Garnett idealizes the black opal. Howard's signature style is turning low cultural references like Michael Jackson and Furbies into jewelry. The combination of valuation and devaluation is manifested in these kitschy postmodern artifacts. Howard's psychology makes him both untrusting and untrustworthy. Howard receives narcissistic injury when his pure life crosses paths with his dirty dealings. When his son visits the building where Julia lived to use the bathroom, when he is abducted from the school play, and when he is humiliated by loan sharks in front of Kevin Garnett. Howard fails to maintain the established relationships in his life. Look at how he fails to appreciate people like Yussi, Damani, and Gooey. His relationship with his teenage daughter is extremely stunted. In the school play, her character produces gold coins from her mouth, a form of idealization. I'm not a psychologist, and I'm sure there is more to unpack in the film.
I want to talk to you! You keep away from my husband, you hear me? Hello? Open the door! Answer me!
The Madonna whore complex is explored extensively in the filmography of Martin Scorsese,
What am I gonna say? That my wife 2 times me?
who was a major influence on the Safdie Brothers and an executive producer on Uncut Gems. Scorsese recognized that the anxieties of 19th century Vienna's bourgeoisie were also to be found rattling around in the subconscious minds of streetwise modern New Yorkers, and the Safdie Brothers have developed this idea further. Howard is, in a sense, a Scorsesean character. Beneath his gruff exterior is a tangle of anxieties, insecurities, and fantasies. The painting on the wall of Julia's apartment is similar in function to Titian's 1514 painting, Sacred and Profane Love.
Did Tommy ever tell you about my painting?
The dichotomy between the idealized woman of chastity and the nude woman are manifested in both paintings.
I like this one. One dog goes one way and the other dog goes the other way.
One is going east and the other one is going west.
The one in the apartment is actually less ambiguous. The duality of the sacred and the profane is a recurring theme in Scorsese's work. Howard Ratner's psychology is signalled to the audience through this painting. The painfully over-civilized subjects of Freud's psychoanalysis inhabited the very formal world of the salons of 19th century Europe. The Safdie brothers have reaffirmed what Martin Scorsese recognized decades prior, that the same psychological complexes that plagued the salons of Vienna and Paris, and the figures of Greek tragedies, plagued those wandering the streets of New York too. None can escape what is fated for them.
Cindy and Scott are newlyweds. Whoopity-doo! He loves her, but she loves this guy right here. And he loves somebody else. You just can't win. And so it goes until the day you die. This thing they call love is gonna make you cry. I hate you. I've had the blues, the rich and the pinks. One thing's for sure. Love stinks? Love stinks! Yeah, yeah! Love stinks! Love stinks! Yeah, yeah!
Love stinks.
Love stinks! Yeah!